Greetings and salutations. This is the Director's Address for November 5th, 2015. First thing I want to start off with, I don't do this enough, is I want to thank everybody for their participation in the Halloween event. It was a lot smoother and bigger than it was last year. I thought it went very well. I appreciate all the staff that jumped in and helped. The ones that were on duty even seemed like they were helping without too much prodding, and that's always a good thing. And those that volunteered and came in, I really do appreciate it. And I know more than my appreciation, I know the community appreciated it. I've heard from many people that how great of an event it was and how they appreciated it. So don't take my appreciation, but take the community's appreciation. Just a couple upcoming dates really quick. We have our Pictures with Santa November 28th from 11 to 2. Christmas dinner was going to be on December 12th, starting about 6ish. And then our first responder training is going to be starting December 12th and going on Saturdays, basically 8 to 5 on Saturdays through December and January. If you'd like to help with skills, or you might want to teach something, give me a holler. I'm going to be running the first class itself, so we can kind of play it by ear. But if that's something you're interested in doing, come and give me a holler. Which kind of segues into a good segue into this. First responders, we have the North, we have the South, we have so many different things. And as much as I would love to pigeonhole and make all first responders the exact same way, it's just not going to happen for a while in this community. Do I think it'll happen 5 years from now? Yes, I think everybody will be through the fire departments and everybody will be the same. But unfortunately, right now, it's just not that way. So right now, we are going to have 3 classifications. 1 are drivers, 2 are attendants, and third is going to be a dual role. I did not really want to do this, but to secure our South a little better, this is what we're going to do. Basically, the North and pretty much everybody's going to be drivers at least. If they're on a fire department, the law actually says you have to be on a fire department or police department and have experience in emergency responding driving. So that's why we kind of have to look at some of this stuff. So there will be times, and this will happen. The only ones I know that are going to be there's going to be a couple in Cosby for a short time, that they will be able to attend and help the medic out in the back, but they won't be able to drive. So there will be more clarification on this in the very near future, or then they can be dual rolled. As far as our November, December training for the remainder of the year, November, there is a packet for everybody at the dispatch desk. I want to send that out to the toolkit today, so you should already know about it. But in that packet, there is a survey. It's a 5 or 6 question survey. Please take some time to think about your answers before you just put some regular BS answer down and move on. And then there's some videos. I know this is gonna when you see the page, it's a full page of videos. It seems like it's gonna be, oh my gosh, this is gonna take forever. Well, I'm gonna tell you, every video is between 2 and 10 minutes. Most of them are around 3 to 5 minutes. The majority of them. If you're a dispatcher, you need to watch all the dispatch videos. If you're an ambulance personnel, you need to watch all the ambulance personnel ones. If you are a medic, there's a special ALS one, just one. Then there's also, if you're a full-time EMT, you need to watch all the dispatch ones also. The part-time EMTs, I would like you to. Those that have been hired within the last year or since I've hired you, if I hired you, you definitely need to watch all the dispatch videos too. If you're an EMT part-time that I hired, you need to go ahead and watch all the dispatch videos too. If you're an EMT from previous days, I won't hold you to that. You don't have to watch those. And then sign off each video as you watch them. Turn them all in. So this needs to be done by the end of November. The surveys and the videos. December I'm giving totally off. I will tell you, January will be cram packed. We got a lot of the stuff that we have to cover for the yearly things in January, and they'll be back to CE Solutions in then. So enjoy December, enjoy the holidays, and then we'll get back in January and hit back into that. This word has been thrown at me, and I've thrown it around. Perspective. This is something that I've learned about a long time ago, but I'm really learning about it now. You can look at this rose, and depending on many things, you see different things. If you are, if you like pretty things, you see a pretty rose. If you've been touched by a rose before and you pricked your finger on that, you're going to look at this rose immediately and say, "Oh, that's one of those things that poke me." Um, so there's a lot of different ways to look at everything that we have. And I guess the biggest thing when I ask about perspective and I talk about perspective, I ask that you try to look at it from other avenues. And not only that, but remember that each person brings their own baggage when they look at a situation. So try to remember that. Um, as Abe Lincoln says, we can complain because the rose bushes have thorns, or we can rejoice because the thorn bushes have roses. I think that's a very good way to look at it. It is a choice. Perspective partially is a choice. You can choose to not bring that baggage to the situation when you're looking at it. Um, Everybody sees it from their angle. And we need to try to, if we really want to grow as a team, we need to be able to look at it from many angles, any situation. This slide is blank. Talk about air ambulances. I will tell you, I have called many helicopters in my day. Some I regretted, most I didn't. The only thing I'll say about helicopters is from the QA perspective and a management perspective, sometimes they are more detriment than their usefulness. Um, think about when we call them, and I can let you listen to the tapes of how long it takes. Usually between somewhere between 5 and 10 minutes just to call the helicopter and actually get them started. They have to call their pilot. The pilot has to go out, do a weather check. That's an immediate thing. Then we have to give them all the information, and that takes a while. Then they've got to get in the helicopter. They got to wind it up, which takes a while, and they have to get into the air. Now, can they fly from their base to our scene faster than the ambulance? Yes, they can. But once they get there, then they got to hover. Then they got to find their landing zone. They got to make sure it's clear. They've got to bring it down to the ground. They have to wind it down. The nurse and the medic get out. They walk over. They get to transfer care of patient. You got to give them a report. You've got to talk to them about it. Then you got to put them on their stretcher. Then you got to take them to the helicopter. Then they got to wind that helicopter back up. Then they got to raise up into the air. Then they have to hover a little bit. Then they take off, and then they fly from your scene to the hospital. Can they fly from any scene to the hospital faster than you? Yes, they can. But this is just two parts of the puzzle that they can do faster than us. Everything else is slower than us. And I will tell you, calls up as far as north of Rosendale and north of Fillmore, I can show that it's still faster to just take them by ground. And you're not costing them the $30,000 that a helicopter costs. Now, if a patient is a kid and needs to go straight to Kansas City, or a burn patient and needs to go straight to Kansas City, totally understandable. There's definitely reasons to need it. If you're up in Bulco and you're going to have a 30-minute extrication, yes, at that point in time, it does make sense to have them. But for the majority of the times, very majority of the times, we should never be using the helicopters. Am I a pro helicopter person? For the right reasons, yes, I am. Clinical aggressiveness. We are on 100% QA. That's no secret. Every report that is written, one of the two supervisors, and then I see the majority. I see a lot of them, and even the medical director sees some. I look at I look at aggressiveness in three different ways, and patient care in three different ways. I see things as black or as white. I see things as black, and I see things as gray. White is you definitely do something. Um, if somebody's blood sugar is 20, you best be giving them dextrose. That's white. There's no doubt about it. You better do it. If you don't, you're going to be explaining to me why. Black. Um, if a patient's conscious and talking to you, we don't put an EG, a King airway in them. We don't put a King airway in them. That's a black. That's a contraindication. So you can look at white as a definite indication. You can look at a black as a definite contraindication. And then there's the gray. We deal in the gray a lot of times, which I understand. There's many a times I've gotten patients and said, I have no freaking clue what's wrong with this guy. So what did I do? I looked for the things that I could fix. I checked their blood pressure. I checked their blood sugar. I checked their cardiac monitor. I did those quick things. I stuck an IV in them, and I took them to the hospital and let the hospital figure it out. That's my thoughts on clinical aggressiveness. Am I conservative? I am conservative when I don't know what's going on. I am. Am I aggressive? I'm aggressive when I know what I need to do. When I know it's a sugar of 30, I have no questions. I don't think you should be taking time putting a 12 lead on somebody when their sugar's 30. If you see they're 30, you should be getting that sugar on there right there. That's aggressive to me. So aggressively fixing the things that we can fix is my thought process and my style. I do feel that before you treat somebody, you need to have a clear clinical picture of what's going on. I don't want you guys guessing with treatments. Guessing without treatments is fine. You can take them to the hospital and say, well, what do you think was wrong with them? I don't know. It was probably bad labs. If you don't know what's going on, always guess bad labs because 90% of the time you'll be right. So, like I said, I'm all for treating, but you've got to know why you're treating it. Clinical thinking, critical thinking, I'm all for it, uh, but I'm not for clinical guessing, critical guessing. If you don't know what's wrong with that patient, you don't have a clear picture of it, don't throw darts trying to figure it out. You're not House. You're not Dr. House. If you ever watch that show, that just makes me cringe because they're wrong 10 times before they actually come some miracle save. We're not here to do the miracle saves. We're here to patch them up and get them to the hospital. We fix the things that we can clearly fix, and then we get them there. Narratives. There are two parts to the narrative, in my opinion. There's the basic elements. If somebody's got a decreased LOC, a basic element should be a blood sugar in there. If they have pain, there should be a basic element of a pain scale. But there's other parts. There's the clear picture to when I read that narrative. I start at the top, I work my way down. I want to know I want to know what is wrong with that patient. I want to know what happened, why they called the ambulance, and what's going on with that patient as the person that wasn't there. Uh, there's several times I come on these scenes with everybody, and I come back and I read the narrative from it. I'm like, I didn't get that. I have no clue from this narrative what that patient was really like. And I was there. And I can see that. And I can say that narrative does not match up to that patient. So it needs to have a clear picture of what is wrong with that patient. I want to know what you saw, what you felt, what you heard when you walked through that door. Just to say, patient was found in the kitchen. Well, that's nice. That does hit one of the basic elements of the narrative, but that tells me nothing. Were they sitting there talking to you? Were they hunched over the table in a tripod position, having severe dyspnea? Those are the clear pictures. If I tell you arrived and patient was in kitchen, that really doesn't tell me very much. But if I say arrived at the scene, the patient was sitting in the kitchen chair, uh, hands were on the table, they were at a tripod position, having severe shortness of breath, gasping, having one word sentences. That gives you a lot better clinical picture of what's going on and what is wrong with the patient. So later on in the narrative, when you say, "Well, I gave a breathing treatment for this patient," I'm going to understand that a lot better because in the earlier time, you gave me a clearer clinical picture of what's going on with that patient. If you just say patient was in the kitchen and said they were short of breath, so I gave them breathing treatment, that's not a good clinical picture. It's good treatment. I give you credit for that, but you've got to convince the reader that your treatment was good. And then basically, so the second part is you need to paint a clear picture of why you treated the way you treated. Why did you give that breathing treatment? Help. Some of it comes with what's a clear picture of what was wrong with the patient. That helps. But then put your thoughts in there. Gave breathing treatment due to bronchospasm, lungs were wheezing, and then do a follow up on that. Did they get better or did they get worse? I don't see follow up very much in narratives. That's one thing that really kind of gets my goat. Just because sometimes I want to know, did it work? That's kind of the end question I say at the end was, okay, you picked this patient up. Did you make them better? That's my question. You could give 3 breathing treatments. You could give all kinds of fentanyl. But if I don't know whether you made them better or not, I really don't know whether you did your job properly. So clear picture of what is wrong with the patient, and then the clear how you treated them, why you treated them, and then the way you treated them. Uh, I read an article this morning on burnout, and the two questions I have here is when I talk about here, I'm not talking about Andrew County Ambulance. I'm talking about the profession. Excuse me. I'm talking about the profession when I say here. So here's my two questions for you today and your food for thought. And I'm looking for those that this affects. The ones that affect are the positive, passionate professionals that I strive to have here at Andrew County. My question is, why are you here? Why are you a paramedic? Why are you an EMT? Why are you a dispatcher? There's some reason that you're here. Hopefully it's not just, well, I had to have something to do in life, so I chose this job that wasn't going to pay me very well, and I was going to get abused and have every one of my forms reviewed and questioned every time and blah blah blah. That's why I'm here. You're here because you wanted to make a difference. Most of you. You're here because you can make a difference in people's lives. You take a bad situation and make it a little brighter. You don't fix it all the time, but you make it a little brighter. That's why you got into this job, most of you. So ask yourself, why are you here? And then the second question I have is, why are you still here? And again, I don't mean at Andrew County. I mean in the profession. If you don't like taking care of patients and you don't like being a paramedic or an EMT, you don't want to be here because you won't be here long. You will mess up. You will hurt somebody. And then you have to not only lose your job, lose your license, you have to live with that the rest of your life. And I don't think there's anybody here. Actually, I know there's nobody here that is callous enough to say that if I hurt somebody, I'm not going to live with that for the rest of my life. So I ask, why are you still here? Remember that. Renew that passion. Talk to your patients. Make a difference in their lives. Uh, my wife was telling me a story. She worked at Tri County the other night, and she had a new paramedic with her, and he basically just, well, there wasn't nothing to fix, so he went and started working on his form. And she sat and she talked to the patient the whole way. Who was the better paramedic in that respect? Oh, there's nothing to fix. Okay, I'm moving on. Maybe the next time I can do something cool. Or was it her who made that patient feel more comfortable and more cared about? Which one do you want working with you and working for you and working on you or your family? Renew your passion. Remember why you're here, and ask yourself, why are you still here? Every day is a new opportunity to make a difference in somebody's life. Let's do it. I am fortunate, and I've said this many times. When I took this job, I didn't know anybody. I knew not a single person here. I could have been coming into Keystone bumbling cops of an ambulance district, and I did not. The people here are professional. The people here are awesome at their jobs. I appreciate everybody here. You make my job easier. We've had some stuff that is non-clinical related issues, I would say. We've had some problems with, but I think we're getting past that. I know we're getting past some of it. Remember why we're here. We're here to help people. We're here to help the community. We're here to help each other. That's why I'm here. I want to make that job easier for you guys. I just really want to say thank you. It has been a wild ride. It's been 2 years now. It's hard to believe it's been 2 years. Every day I feel like it's a new day that I walk in. It has been great. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of you. Uh, Please help with pictures with Santa. If nothing else, the community loves it. Come in, come in and help and watch the joy on the kid's face. That's what's important. That's why we're here. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for the district. Do it for the community. Do it for why you're here. Remember why you're here, and then come out on Pictures with Santa and say, what can I do to be there for those kids and be those for those families, and meet and greet and smile and meet the people in a good setting. And then come to the Christmas dinner. Bring your family. Uh, we'll have a good meal. We'll have a little enjoyment. And have a good time just being together as a team, because we're a team of professionals that take care of the community and do our jobs well. The only thing I can really keep thinking right now is thanks to everybody. I'm done. Enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you at the next address.